Dorothy, you are not in Kansas anymore. You might be in Missouri. Today, I'm going to be interviewing Maura Coleman. She's a top Kansas City area realtor. If you didn't know, number one, best places to raise a family, Overland Park, which is in the Kansas City area. It's no doubt that so many people are relocating to the Kansas City area. Today's video, episode 2, best places to live in Kansas City, leaving Chicago for Kansas City area. Hello, folks. It is Anant Deoras, your leaving Chicago realtor with eXp Realty. Today, we've got a great show. It is best places to live in the Kansas City area. I have Maura Coleman with me. Maura, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
And she works in the Kansas City area. And so today, folks, what we're going to do is we're going to kind of talk about her journey with YouTube and her business, kind of the attractions of the Kansas City area, and then we'll wrap up with, of course, both of our bread and butters, real estate. So Maura, go ahead and kind of tell me about the YouTube journey, how you got the video, and also kind of your business and your practice areas, if you wouldn't mind.
You bet. So I have been selling real estate for a little over 3 years. I came to real estate from, actually, I had my own video production company that I ran for 17 years.
Very nice. Very nice. Very nice.
I feel really comfortable with video and production and editing and all those things. So I've really used that in my YouTube for sharing information about the Kansas City area and the real estate market, and kind of helping people get to know our city in a way.
Wonderful, wonderful. And how long have you been using YouTube? A lot of people are going to be watching our video here on YouTube. So roughly how long have you been using for your real estate business and educating and informing consumers?
Right. Well, I started right away. I've just really, it was comfortable because that's what I did before. So I kind of started making videos in the beginning and started with lots of neighborhood tours and driving around Kansas City and showing different suburbs and subdivisions and little parts of the city that I've always loved. And I've learned lots of little places that I didn't know that I loved, and those are great too. So from there, I still use the video for open houses and home tours, and have been growing with more education on kind of how to get through some of the things in Kansas City and some of the real estate things in Kansas City. And I use my great Dane Glynnis in a lot of it, just because that entertains me. It's mostly
that's funny you mentioned that. I saw that, and actually I'm going to have a couple of images, folks. If you love Great Danes, this dog is amazing. And I heard, like, if you get excited, the dog gets excited, kind of jumps, probably knocking me over.
So she's sleeping on her bed. I'm really hoping she doesn't.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Hey, well, she's pretty slobbery. There'd be a lot of slobber.
That's awesome. That's wonderful. And she's your showing assistant, right? I imagine.
She is. Yes. She actually she shows my listings. She wears a Great Dane camera, a GoPro on her back, and
that is awesome.
About as goofball as you could get. But we all need to take life a little less seriously sometimes, and
absolutely,
she helps me do that. So
you can have fun too. And I'm actually going to have a little B-roll, folks, of her in action with that GoPro. So Kansas City, why don't you kind of explain kind of a high level, like, what's the breakdown, like where are the kind of the cultural cool things to do versus maybe living in the suburbs? Kind of give the folks an idea if they're considering that Kansas City area, if you wouldn't mind, a couple of minutes of giving that background.
Yeah, you bet. Kansas City is a little bit complicated because we're located right on the state line of Kansas and Missouri. So when people say Kansas City, when you live here, you may not know whether you're talking about the Kansas side or the Missouri side, and it kind of sometimes doesn't even matter. But most of the fun things to do and the cultural, music, fabulous restaurants, art, museums, gardens are in the Kansas City, Missouri side. So
got it.
And that's where the city center is. That's where the bars are and the jazz. There's barbecue all over Kansas City. Doesn't matter where you go.
Oh yeah.
You'll find that. But kind of the when you're going out and exploring the city, you'll go to the plaza or Westport, or downtown has had a whole lot of growth in the last few years, and
Really?
that's going to be in the Kansas City, Missouri side.
Okay.
From the middle, we have suburbs all around. So there's lots of pockets of suburbs on the Missouri side that are kind of north and west of Kansas City, Missouri proper, and then a whole bunch on the Kansas side, which would be Overland Park, Lenexa, Shawnee. These are all little towns that are surrounding Kansas City, Missouri. So it's kind of the center, but probably around, you can get to Kansas City proper about 30 minutes from anywhere.
Got it. And how about like airport and transportation? How long roughly would it, let's say if someone's living in Overland Park, how long would that take airport to get to there?
Our airport is North Kansas City.
Okay.
So there's some more.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
And it is probably about 10 or 15 minutes from downtown. We do have a downtown airport, but it's just teeny little planes and special people who get to use that one. But the MCI
major one, yeah,
which is getting completely overhauled. It was like 1970 circa craziness up until about last year. So that it's going to be a big Midwestern hub again, which will be really great for our city.
Got it. And I'm going to have a map going over here so kind of folks can get a kind of an overview what everything looks like. That's awesome. So any other things to do or attractions that is that primarily what people will go to the museums in on the Missouri?
We have a really fantastic city market it's called the City Market area. It's like built around that space with lots of locally fruits and vegetables and animals and crafts and anything you could, baked goods, all of the things. And that's Saturday and Sunday mornings, and that's a real draw. We have really good food in Kansas City, and the locally owned places, there's numerous, not just barbecue, but we have lots of really amazing chefs in Kansas City. So you can
foodies will be happy.
Foodies will be happy, and coffee people will be happy. We have really great coffee shops. And
listen, thank God for coffee in our business, right?
Amen to that. So we all have our favorite coffee shops, and you can find really pretty much anything to do here. Lots outside, lots of parks, and actually pretty good hiking in Kansas City. And we have a good zoo. It's so well-rounded. It's a pretty great place to visit.
Yeah, wonderful. So let's kind of talk about, of course, as I mentioned, our bread and butter, real estate. And the numbers are dynamic, but let's say someone is looking for a 3 or 4 bedroom home. Can you kind of go into, and again, it doesn't have to be like super specific, but like maybe some numbers on what that would cost, and also I know here in the Chicagoland, a lot of the folks that are watching, it's pretty competitive. I imagine it's very competitive there. So maybe a couple of tips before you wrap up on, what is a good way to, get your offer accepted. And of course, we also want to talk about what's the best way to contact you. So before we talk about that, maybe talk a little bit about the real estate in the Kansas City area, please.
Absolutely. So with the suburbs, both in the Kansas and the Missouri side, pretty much the farther out you get, the more house you get for your money, obviously, which is fairly typical. On the Missouri side, Brookside is kind of a sort of close in. It's not quite a suburb; it's more midtown, and you can do a 3 or 4 bedroom in the usually around $300,000 or $400,000 range. They do go up if they're renovated into the 700s. And then on the Kansas side, we have Overland Park, which is a wonderful place to settle and raise a family. It's probably about 15-20 minutes away from downtown or midtown. So you're still getting close. You can come in close. It does go farther south, so it's just a big community and city. But again, the farther south you go, the more house you get for your money. So the median probably is right in the $200,000 to $400,000 range, and then they can go up into the millions, or you can get a cute little tiny thing for 200. but our market is crazy, and we are things are going in a day or two if they're
Are they
ready
going
to
quick?
go. And almost all either asking price or significantly over. So the bidding wars are strong here, and we work hard.
Wow. So any particular, I mean, I'm obviously, of course, imagine you have some lender partners that could probably help some folks that are watching here. They're thinking of, going to Chicago, to the Kansas City area. Is there any tips you can share to the public here that, Zoom calls, how do you kind of maybe kind of go into quickly, how do how you consult? Do you have your lender on? Kind of going to, of course, we're using Zoom here, so I imagine you're comfortable with Zoom. Everyone's favorite, right? Zoom.
Yes, we're all used to Zoom. Yes, having a local lender is key, and having a respected one is absolutely key. And so I have several, quite a few that I work with in Kansas City, and I've had a couple deals just work because of the name of the lender is on the offer, and they're when those really trusted, well-respected people are recognized. It's pretty amazing when an agent calls and says, well, we had 12 offers and the top 3 were almost identical, and we picked yours because you have my favorite lender. So, that happened a couple of weeks ago, and it was
okay.
It was amazing. It really was stunning and super cool. And I immediately called him and gushed all over the place. So, those things we do the, the way that we're presenting the offers. I typically do them, including a video to the agent.
Excellent. Just that is very, very, very key.
Yeah.
Communication is so key.
Absolutely.
So, wonderful.
Knowing
wonderful.
that I'm an easy person to work with, and hopefully they are too. And we do lots of communicating, whether it's Zoom, phone, video, texts, all of that. And that
carrier pigeon.
Not carrier pigeon, but great Dane cam,
Well, hey. So Maura, thank you so much for your time. Before we wrap up, what is the best way? You mentioned your website, best way to contact, if you have a guide, a relocation guide, what is the best way for the public in case they don't? I'm going to have this all, so just FYI folks, I'm going to have this all in my YouTube in the description. I'm going to have your information to reach out. But why don't you give the public here your best contact information, and I'll have it scrolling in the lower thirds here too.
All right. My email is probably the easiest for everybody. It's mauracoleman@reesnichols.com. And I do have a YouTube page if you want to, start looking at Kansas City and seeing kind of some of the differences between our little neighborhoods and our cities. And of course, sometime with Glynnis, the Great Dane.
And what is your YouTube channel? I'm gonna also have it on down here. What's the name of your YouTube channel?
It's just Maura Coleman Real Estate.
Oh, okay. Perfect. Yeah. Maura, thank you so much for your time. And I'm glad we were able to do this video. Folks, please reach out to her if you have any questions. And of course, if you have a home to sell in the Chicago or Chicagoland area before going to the Kansas City area, reach out to me, Anant Deoras with eXp Realty. Thank you so much for your time. Take care.